Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Vikings on Board. This is a board game brought to you by Blue Orange Games. It supports 2 to 4 players. It's for ages 8 and up, and the average play time is 30 to 60 minutes. Normally I would have everything set up here, but I was just so awestruck by the components. I wanted to show you how the game actually looked right out of the box. Here's the board itself, really colorful, really nice, and even has artwork on the back of it. You won't be using the back, but it has artwork on the back, which is really cool. So there's that, and then you've got this box insert, which is amazing, by the way. There's a place for everything. Reminds me of Lords of Waterdeep a little bit. But you've got player shields here for scoring. You've got different Vikings for each of the player colors. And then if you remove this plastic insert, there's stuff underneath it. You've got different ships here. So there's different ship pieces, and I'll explain what each one does, but there's little shields on each side, and those little shields will help determine who actually wins that boat whenever it decides to quote-unquote set sail. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I just mainly wanted to show you the box insert and the components. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shut the camera off, get this set up for a 4-player game, and we'll get started with the review. Okay, so this is what a 4-player game might look like, but it's important to note in a 2 or 3-player game, you're going to use every boat color no matter how many people are playing the game. So if one person is red and the other person's yellow, you only have the red and yellow Vikings over here, but you'll still use all of the ship parts. So you're still going to have some green and some blue ship parts. As far as the fjord goes, which is this part of the board over here, or what's on the water, you're going to have 8 boats, and each boat is going to have 3 pieces. It can go up to 5, but it's going to start out the game with just 3. And it's going to be randomized, and you're not going to have 2 pieces of the same color on the same boat. So you couldn't have a red, and a yellow. There's red, yellow, blue here, blue, green, red, yellow, green, red, and so on and so forth. That's all going to be randomized. There's the front of the ship here, and the front of the ship is basically where goods go once you draw them with particular actions. I'll get to that in a minute. You've also got some tail pieces out here. There's 7 of them, and basically the end of the game will come around whenever 7 of the 8 ships are set sail, which means that they've scored. Alright, so that's what the boat part looks over here, the fjord. Then you've got the harbor. This is where betting can take place. Players can use their 4 betting markers. They're numbered 1 through 4. And they can secretly place a bet on a color that they think is going to be controlling that boat. So let's say right now red has 3 shields on this, yellow has 2 shields, and blue has 1 shield. If I take the bet action, which I'll get to over here, I may decide, hey, red is probably going to win this boat. So I'm going to go ahead and bet this many points, again numbered 1 through 4, but other players don't know what you bet, and put it on the red spot here. Once you bet on a color, other players cannot bet on that color. But you can move your bets around should you not win this particular, let's say yellow ends up winning this in the future. This bet will stay here, and then through an action you can move that bet onto another spot. So that's what this is all about, the betting, and the betting will score you points if you are right. This is a player's score pad, if you will. As players earn points via these goods here, or by betting correctly, they'll simply be placing these items onto their little shield. Alright, and then that's the betting part, that's the harbor. Then finally you've got the village over here. This is where the actions take place. You've got from right to left, well in your case it's closest to furthest, but players will start here. This is the first player symbol here, and then you'll see different actions as you go down the board. And I'll explain what some of them do. I don't know about all of them. Like for this one, for example, will let you place a bet. Whereas this one down here lets you either place a bet or move a bet. So basically, the weaker actions are here, closer to the front of the line, whereas the more stronger actions are further down the line. And that's for a reason. I mean, the actions that you take on your turn will determine the turn order for the next round. So if you take a bunch of strong actions on your first round, then you're probably going to end up going last with a lot of your Vikings on the next round. Whereas if you take a bunch of weak actions, then more than likely you'll get first dibs on the actions for the next round. So there's a little bit of strategy there. There is a marketplace here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but there's 3 different commodities. There's nails, I think that's fur, and corn, I think, and there's a token for each one. They start on the 1, but one of these actions, actually this little market space here, if you were to take an action on the market space, you can move one of these up. Prices can never go back down, and the maximum is 4. So that comes into play whenever these ships are scored. Whenever a ship sets sail, again, there's a spot for that as well, or an action. Whenever a ship is scored, any commodities that are on that boat, via these actions here, will be scored or given to particular players. The first player here, the player that is in control of the boat will get 1, and then the player that is in second most control of the boat will get 1, and then the person in third most control will get 1. If those other players don't have enough goods, if there's not enough goods here to meet everyone, then only like the first place or second place will get it. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself here. This is what setup will look like. Again, it's going to change slightly with 2 and 3 players, but let's just say that blue goes first, but then blue is last in line. Green is second, and green is second to last. So you're going to have like a setup sort of like this. 3-player and 2-player, very similar. The number of Vikings you use depends on the number of people playing the game. In a 2-player game, for example, you're going to have 4 Vikings each. So, and they're going to be staggered along this path here. But anyway, in order to take an action, what you're going to do, let's say it's blue's turn, you're going to pick one of these on the other side here. And let's just say that they decide to, I don't know, promote. Okay, and promote means that they can move one of their ship parts up to the front of the line. Whenever there is a tie, let's say that one ship, actually this is a good example here, there's 3 yellow and 3 green and 1 red. These 2 are tied, so who controls the boat? The one closest to the front of the boat here is the one that controls it. So had this been, say, green's turn, green may want to had to use the promote action, and then that would allow them to pick this up, move yellow back, and then put their green one in front. That way, in case of a tie, they would win. But again, anything can change between now and the end of the game. So, so let's say blue takes a move. Let's say that they go, oh, I don't know. Let's say that they go here. This allows you to draw 3. Is this take 1? Yeah, let's just take 1. So you're going to take 1 here. There's some goods here stacked. And it's nails. So this player is going to take this nail and put it onto any one of these ships. Well, let's see what he has. He's got 3 shields here, 2, 2. So more than likely, he may win this boat, he may not. He's got 3 here, 1 green, 2 red. So he's going to go ahead and put it on this boat, thinking that he's going to win this boat. So that ends his turn. Then green gets to go. Green's going to go ahead and choose a different spot. Like I said, he can promote if he wants to, so he might do something like this. And that allows him to move, say, this green one. He can move this green one here, move it to the front of the boat. That way he ties with blue, but now he's in the front. So he would win this boat should it set sail. And then win, again, any commodities that might be here for first place, second place, third place, so on. All right, so then yellow gets to go. Again, so it's sort of like a worker placement game. Let's say that yellow wanted to bet on something. Yellow could do something like that. He can place a bet. And he can take one of his tokens. Let's say he's reasonably sure that blue is going to win this boat. So he's going to go ahead and place his yellow bid. He's going to bet 3 on this. No one else knows that. He's going to put that on the blue space here, thinking that blue's going to win that. And that'll end his turn. Then red gets to go. Let's say that red wants to go to the market, and I don't know why you'd want to do that yet. But let's just say that there were commodities somewhere else on the boats. And let's say that he had a boat that had, say, I don't know, a bunch of corn on it, or wheat, or whatever this is. So let's say he would want to jack up that price so that he can score more points whenever that ship sets sail. So he's going to go ahead and raise the price of that one. And then yellow gets to go. Or actually, no, red gets to go again, because he's next in line here. Let's see here. There's some other ones down here that I didn't get to. Let's say red decides to do this one. This allows you to take 3, and then, again, this is a more powerful action. You take 3 off the deck, you choose 1 to place, and you put the other 2 back. So let's say he decides to put, well, looks like he's in the lead on this boat and this boat. So he's going to go ahead and put some fur here. Okay, actually, corn actually showed up, so it would be why he rose the price on corn, or wheat, or whatever this is. So we might as well put that on this boat here. Okay, instead of using the fur. All right, so we're going to do that, and then yellow gets to go. You see where I'm going with this. Basically, whenever you take an action, you put the Viking to the opposite side, and then on the next round, those, let's say that yellow goes here, takes the appropriate action, green goes here, takes the appropriate action, blue goes here, takes the appropriate action. Now, in the next round, if no ships, if no action was taken to set sail, then the next round will just simply occur. If someone did place a Viking on the set sail action, that means that you would score, they would be able to score any boat that they wanted to. And so as long as, there's any sort of commodity on it, that kind of thing. But let's say that, I don't know, let's say that red was in charge. Okay, so let's say that red had gone here instead and decided to set sail as one of his actions. At the end of the round, he would say, okay, I'm going to go ahead and set sail this boat here. So he's going to go ahead and attach this back to it and shove it off, and then that boat would score based on what's on it. He's in the lead. He's got 3 red shields to yellows 2 to blues 1. He's in the lead, so he would take the first commodity, put it on his, well, it's over here, but he would put it on his little scoreboard here, like so. And that would be it. There's no more commodities, so yellow and blue do not get to take anything. And this particular boat is scored, and that's it. And then, again, once 6 more boats end up getting scored at some point in the future, then the game will end. And players will be collecting these for points, and again, the points are determined by this marketplace here, and of course betting as they go as well, so that they can earn points that way. Now, there are a few actions I didn't get to cover, like some allow you to swap, so you could like take one from this and add it to this, or like in the beginning of the game during setup I mentioned that you couldn't have the same color or 2 of the same boat parts on the same boat, but throughout the game, you can add to a boat that has your color on it. So now, red has 3 on this one, or it could maybe move, I don't know. I don't know what else he has. He's got it. Yeah, I guess he could do that, or he could move over here, like so, and that's 1, 2, 3 to greens 2 and to blues 2. So now he would be in the lead on this boat. So some actions let you do that. Others let you swap different pieces, that kind of thing. One allows you to move a boat of any color as opposed to just your color. So there's different actions that you can take. As far as what I thought and as far as the review, again, I didn't cover everything like the 2 and 3 player rules. But I have to say, this game is fantastic. The production quality is great. There's different ways to score. I like the how the actions are laid out to where the weakest ones are here and the better ones are down here, and you can basically take the advantage of the stronger actions now, but you'll pay for it next round because you'll more than likely move last on the next round. So turn order and these actions go hand in hand. I really like that. The betting mechanic, I also like that. Basically, you're taking a chance that certain boats will sail off. Even if it's not your color, you can still bet on other player colors and still earn points that way. So you can earn points by, making ships sail off with commodities on it, and then be the one in control of that boat when it does set sail, and also by winning bets. And then between the bets and the commodities that you've won, based on the market here, you're going to add up your points, and whoever has the most wins. And like I said, this is a fantastic game, very family-friendly. New York 1901 was the last, I don't want to say heavy game that Blue Orange does. Blue Orange generally makes kids games, or at least family-friendly games that are very simple to play. New York 1901 was sort of like a departure from that, and that was released, I think, last year. It's more complicated than this. So if you liked 1901, then I would recommend this one too, because it's heavier than the other games in Blue Orange's catalog. But at the same time, it's not as heavy as 1901 or New York 1901. So if you didn't find New York 1901 challenging enough, then this game may not be for you. Another concern here is that there's a little bit of backstabbing involved here. I won't say backstabbing, but you're going to be, some of these actions let you move boats around, boat parts around that aren't your color. So if you're playing with kids that are very competitive, they could possibly get mad at the fact that you ruined their plans, and they were in control of a boat, there was a bunch of commodities on it, and they were about to set sail, but then at the last second, you decided to switch some boats parts around, and now you control the boat instead of them. There could be some hard feelings there. So if you are a parent, and you have kids that are competitive, I would recommend sitting in on this particular game, because, players may get mad. One other thing I really like, no assembly required. That is a huge plus. With all these ship parts, I'm afraid that I was going to have to assemble something. Not the case whatsoever. So great components, great artwork, just great everything, really. and it does a really good job at just being casual yet strategic at the same time. So there's my review for Vikings on board. The only thing that I couldn't show you was the manual. That's because my copy, they're still working on that particular piece of the game. I didn't get a manual. I got a PDF manual, but I didn't get an actual manual, so I can't show you a physical copy of that. But yeah, if it's anything like this, then heck, I mean, you're in for a good time, I think. So there you go. That's Vikings on board. If you haven't already, go check out my quick written article that I wrote that relates to this on my official website, www.dadsgamingaddiction.com. If you haven't already, subscribed to my YouTube channel. That way you can keep up to date with any new content I'm going to publish. This is Vince. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.